object there.
Which one's the blend tool? We spent 5 hours working.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's right below the multi-section surface tool. It's kind of got like a blue surface and then goes off at an angle on a yellow surface, and it's a blue surface again. So if you click the blend tool, you can select your first set of coordinates here, and then you can click on the second curve and select the second, and then if you hit preview, you'll notice that it's kind of twisted. Okay. So this has an arrow indicating it's going around this way. This one's arrow also indicates that it's going around this way. So you're kind of sitting here going, well, that's not what the image looks like. That's not what I want. I don't want it to twist. Well, in order for you guys to get it to not twist so badly, the first thing that you want to check is make sure the curves are going in the same direction. And that generally makes it so it won't twist. But in this case, you have two different geometries for your different cross sections. You've got a circle and you've got a square. And because those are so different, it's going to twist like this even though it's not generating an error. Because both curves are going in the same direction. So what you need to do is you need to break one of your cross sections into smaller elements that will match up with the other cross section.
So you can circle the quarter arcs or something.
Exactly. And that's actually one of the hints here on the homework or on the in-class thing. It says it may be useful to sketch the circle as 4 90-degree arcs. So great, we want to do that. So we're going to come back here into the sketch, and we're going to break this into 4 points because there's 4 sides to this cross section. So we'll just draw a line here to here, and another line from here to here. And we'll use the quick trim tool to remove 2 of the arcs so we can break this up. If you don't see it right away, it's kind of got like this scissors thing here. It's on a toolbar starts with an O, so it's operation. So if you do the drop down, you can grab the quick trim tool and you can remove one of the arcs. I'm just going to double click on that. Grab the other arc on the other section, and then we're going to get rid of those lines we just created. Okay? So now we've got 2 arcs. We've broken it up into 2 arcs. We can now add some geometry to add those arcs back in, but we can now make it into 4 arcs instead of 1 complete circle. So what we'll do is we'll come down here to the circle tool. And if you do the drop down, you can do a 3-point arc, or you can do an arc by center point, and it's just called an arc. I prefer this tool for this type of operation, but whichever one you prefer is fine too. So this one, if you use the arc, you click on where the center is first, bring it out to the radius, and then you can click and drag and it'll sweep down, and you can click to finish it. So we'll do that one. We'll create another one here. There we go. Now this is broken up into 4 arcs because you can see those endpoints. Okay? So we'll hop out of our sketch, and now you can see those 4 points where those things break up into 4 separate arcs. So let's try and do a blend again. Click on this one, select our second curve, click on this one, do a preview, and it's kind of twisted a little bit. That's not exactly what we want. So one way we can check our arrows, make sure those are pointing the right way, and it's still twisted, right? You're like, great. It's not twisted as badly as it was, but it's still pretty bad. There we go. Okay. So one other way to get around that type of error is to make sure that the distance between the feature between the 2 points is oriented the same as the features on the other ones. To illustrate that a little bit better, because I know that didn't come out very clear, I'm going to come back into this sketch, and I'm going to grab all 4 of my arcs, and I'm going to do, if you come over here and do a drop down, there's a rotate option. Okay? If I click on that rotate, make sure duplicate mode's turned off because I don't want to duplicate this. I just want to move it. I don't want to create a copy that's moved. The first thing it'll do is ask for a point of rotation. So if you click on the center point, that'll be the point of rotation. Then it asks for a reference line. So that's going to tell you where your angle is based off of. So I'm going to click out here. And then as I move this thing, you don't really see the circle itself moving, but it actually is. The circle's actually moving. I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. Press, let's see, 45. Press OK. And now my circle's been rotated 45 degrees. If I hop out of sketch mode, you'll see now that my points have shifted. This point and this point are now relatively on the same direction as from this point to this point. So now those arcs are kind of in line with those lines. Okay, so now if we try to do a blend, we can do this one as our first one and this one as our second one, and it still might throw an error. And you're like, great, this is really frustrating. You know, I'm just trying to get this feature to work. So I mean, it's very twisted now. You can again check your arrows. Say this arrow's going that way, this arrow's going this way. So you're like, why isn't this working? You know, these things lined up. Well, if that doesn't work, there's one last thing that you guys can do. Okay, you want
Doesn't
to
work, then you're screwed.
No, you're not. If you come in here to the blend function, and this works with the multi-section surface, it works with multi-section solid, it works with pads, it works with pockets, it works with revolves. You can come in where it's asking you for what it is you're trying to do the operation on. If you right-click, it'll bring up this this extra little set of options, and you can do create extract. And when you do that, you can select an element and it will pull that element out of the sketch. So you can grab just a portion of the sketch rather than the entire thing. Come down here to the second curve, do another extract and grab this element. And then if we do a preview, it's created that portion. Okay? So we can do that for everything else too. Say, okay, that's perfect. We'll do another blend. Right click here, do extract, grab this one, press OK, right click in here, create extract, grab this one, press OK, and so on and so forth until you're done. So if you're still having a lot of issues and you've tried all of those different options, trying to get this thing to sweep from one cross section to another, you can break up the cross sections and just sweep portions of it at a time. And most of the time, that will solve the problem. I think like 99% of the time, it will solve the problem. Yeah, you could do that way too. I just wanted to mostly show some basic techniques, but it would be more efficient to just rotate another circle 180 degrees. So we'll go ahead and finish this up real quick here. Grab that one, press OK, come in here, grab that, press OK. Oops, we don't want that one. We want this one. Grab that one and that one. There we go. Okay, so we've got a nice solid going on, or surface going on there. And then we want to come up here, create a new sketch. We're going to do a 3D projection here and just grab these arcs. Oops. There we go. Hop out of sketch here. We got that up there. And we can do a multi-section surface. Grab the two. Oh. My closing points are on the wrong side, so I need to replace it and bring it over here. See if that works. There we go. All right, we've got our chimney. Okay. So that's the second part. Hopefully you've learned a few good techniques for that. We're going to go ahead and move on to the last part here, the hood of a car. And this one's really, really helpful because it'll allow you to basically have the hood of your vehicle done when you guys start doing surface modeling for your cars next week. This one's really cool too because I'm going to teach you guys how to do 3D curves. It's called a combined projection or a combined curve. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So we're going to go ahead and do a new part. Call this one Awesome 2. Okay. And we'll go ahead and just kind of create a basic sketch of what we want our hood of our vehicle to look like. So we'll come in here onto this plane and we'll just do a general outline. So let's see, I'll do mine with the profile. Oh no, yeah, this will be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna draw something that looks like this. Make sure it snaps to points.
So what exactly are we drawing on this plane?
So I'm drawing the general outline of what my hood would look like if I'm looking down from like the top, like from the sky down on top of my car.
That's a really general.
This is really general. Very, very general. Okay. We'll throw in some cool curves here. So grab this and this, and maybe we'll want to have it look something like that. Yeah, looks good. Go ahead and mirror. We'll grab this line, our new curve, and that line. Hold down Control to grab them all. Click mirror, and we'll mirror it about that axis. That looks pretty good. So we'll hop out of sketch for now. You guys can constrain that later. So got the general shape of the hood of my car. Okay. All right, so now we're going to come over onto this plane right here, and we're going to create a new sketch. And I'm going to create a spline. And this will define kind of the cross-section shape of my car if I was looking at it from the side.
That's the spline tool that you use?
Yep, just a spline. That looks pretty good.
Oh, beautiful.
All right. So now that I've got those two, and you can place these wherever you want. I mean, you don't have to do it this way. You could have had this outline here kind of offset just a little ways. There's a tool in here called Combine, and I'm not seeing it off the top. Oh, there it is right there. So over here, here's a regular projection. This will allow you to project geometry. If you do the drop down, right next to it, there's a Combine. So the Combine allows you to create a 3D element. So if you click on that, you can click on your sketch. You can click on the curve, and then it will create a 3D curve for you. Now the way this thing works is it takes the first set of curves and the second set of curves, and then it kind of projects them in a planar direction. And so if you've got two objects that are perpendicular to each other, and you decide to do a combined projection, it will essentially find where those objects meet in 3D. And wherever that intersection occurs, that's where it will create the geometry. So for example, this curve right here was being projected upwards, and this curve right here was being projected outwards this way. And so wherever those two